crazy. If you ain't crazy, where like I tell people all the time, don't break my damn tie. Don't break my tie. Leave my tie alone. Leave my furious exactly how my furious is.
And I am furious. That is what it is. So.
Isn't that how that goes?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, where's your name at? Damn it, what's wrong with this thing? We're
That's
already
happened a lot
live.
with a lot of people. They're struggling. There it is. I see you.
There it is. Okay, boom. All right, I'm gonna share it out on my page real quick. Woo, it's hot here. Damn it, it's hot.
I'm dying here, darling. I'm dying. It is ridiculous.
It is. It's great. I should be out in the garden. Are you growing this year?
I'm trying. Our greenhouse fell down, and I got really upset about it. But we're still we put them in pots outside on the patio. We're like we're gonna do it. We're just gonna figure it out. You know, we're just not very green thumb people, but it just takes a minute. It just takes a minute. So.
Well, it does, and you know, I think the first year I started growing, I lucked up and I actually grew something. But every other year after that, I screwed up, and then I finally got it right. Like to me, I think it's just doing it, messing it up.
Yep.
And
I think that's
one day, right? And when you need it, you got it. You know.
It's, and as you used to say all the time, it's like you don't really need to do much. They're plants; they'll just grow. Like they just do it. Like you don't have to do anything really. So just let them grow and be plants. So
put them in the dirt, rains a little bit, light, you know, and the next thing you know, plants' food falls off of it. You don't always get what you want as much as you want, you know. But if you're not like doing it as a farmer, you're not so worried about it. Put seeds in the ground and let them go. You know?
It's just new. It's all new stuff. I'm loving it, though. I'm really loving it. At least I'm more productive than just whining here all day, because I know a lot of my friends just kind of whine, and I'm like, so what are you doing, though? They're like, nothing. We're just hanging out on Facebook all day. I'm like, oh, that's why. That's why, guys. That's what it is.
You know, it's funny to me. It's like when you look at the play that's rolling out, they want you either in the house whining or they want you in the street whining. You know, but they don't want you doing your thing. Like they want you doing a thing that feeds them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Whatever suits their and all it does. Because we're not, we're not being self-actualized. We're just trying to fight instead of trying to build. So
right. Being destructive, how the television tells us in social media, as opposed to being constructive and doing your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Danielle, I see Danielle. She's another one. She's out there growing too. Have you seen her neighborhood?
Oh yeah. She's working really hard on it. She really is trying really hard, and I love it. It's fantastic. That's what everyone should be doing. Like she focused on food, the one thing we're actually going to need. Like we don't really need all the rest of this crap. We do need food though. We're not going to be able to do much if we're starved to death. So that's just really how that works. So.
Well, even worse, if we're starved to death, we're going to do exactly what the kings and lords tell us to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this I think a lot of people lose sight. They think that, oh well, you know, I'll sit inside and I'll wait and I won't learn anything. Whether it's a craft, it doesn't have to be grown. It could be anything, like anything productive with your hands that aids in the community. But if you sit back and you think, well, you know, I'll fight when it's time. You know, militaries do not fight if they don't have food. Whether you walking away or you're fighting, if you don't have no food, you're going to like. I'm watching this show. It's called Turn. I don't know if you ever watched Turn. It's called Turn Washington Spies. It's about the American Revolution, but it's specifically about the spies. And like one thing that they do focus on a lot is militaries need logistics. If you don't have food, water, place to stay, drive shoes, you're done. And so a lot of the fighting they did was just burning the food, burning the fields, you know, even salting the earth back in ancient times. And so I think we probably fail a little bit, which to a degree isn't a failure. We are where we need to be, and that we don't know how to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, and it's and as I say every time, I'm like, especially for new people, that you can't do anything if you're dependent on psychopaths for resources. There's nothing to do. I mean, you can't be dependent on psychopaths because it's just going to put you. I mean, you're just going to be used and thrown away. Psychopaths they don't care about everything's a means to an end. They don't care about money. They don't care about. They just want control. That's all they want is control, and they'll get it one way or the other. They will. So, and they'll use anything.
Right.
They use desire. They use hatred. They use anything, any flaw that you haven't come to terms with. That's what they'll utilize. Anything at all.
Right.
So
anything, racism, money, economy, car, house, food, water. Whatever it is, if they can, that's one thing that you taught me from the very beginning. When I was like, who the hell is this crazy dude? From the very beginning, you said, focus on the people who own the resources. It's not about the rich. There's a difference between the rich and the wealthy.
Indeed.
And it's a big, the rich. You can go visit the rich. You can go up
yeah, we are. Yeah, some of our family are rich, but they ain't wealthy. But they're rich.
They're rich.
Yeah.
You can be mad at them. The wealthy, you don't know. You can't visit. Never know where their schedules aren't published, and very few of them even go on TV. But they control everything, and they keep the poor in conflict with the rich, the poor in conflict with the poor, the Christians and the Muslims and the whites and the blacks. And I just said, you know what? For the most part, I'm a commentator now. Like, I don't do politics. I don't do anything. I just sit back and I comment and I eat taters. That's all I do.
Yes.
I comment.
Well, that's what we all are, because people think we're like trying to lead them somewhere, or you know what I mean? Like they think we're leading them somewhere. We're like, no. We're the information desk here. We're just social political commentators. That's all we are. We never claim to be investigative journalists. We never claim to be any of those things. We're just commentators. That's all it is. So they have to do their own research.
Right. That's bullshit over there. You might not want to step on that. But if you really want to step on it, then go ahead and step on it. See how that work out for you. But I'm going to go this way. And that's the funny thing, though, I think about the world today is everyone thinks that you want to like lead them. Everyone, it's like this master-slave relationship, this leader-follower relationship. And I think the most beautiful thing is like there seems to be an uprising of people who are like, man, we did that for 3,000 years. We ain't gonna do that no more. I don't need to be led.
The worst part is that they as we always know, they only really learn through experience. And that's why it's like we can tell them all day, but until it's actually at their front door, then they're like, oh, I see. I get it. It doesn't apply to them. It's so distant from them. So that when it actually shows up, they're like, oh, okay. Now I understand what you're talking about. So
it makes sense. That's why Obama put all the prisons out there so we can get the police, the next administration, and put them all in. Oh, so that's why AFRICOM is in Africa, because I got a smartphone and we need black slaves growing every day. We need them down there picking the minerals and have it all to be cheap, like they're picking cotton. Oh, so you mean tell me black lives never really matter? Oh, okay. And white lives neither. Oh.
It's a be careful what you ask for thing. Me and Emmers were covering equality versus equity yesterday. That's exactly what that is. They want equality, which means that they're placing a devalue system on themselves. Instead of creating equity, they're creating equality, which is you know what I mean. That's exactly the difference there. It's a very big difference between equality and equity. And if people don't get that, they're gonna play into that victim mentality where they need to be taken care of, they need to be saved. They need parents. They need somebody to come do it for them. They're not taking the personal responsibility of their own lives upon themselves. And that's only going to result in slavery, indentured servitude, you know what I mean? Prisoners of war. Like, that's all you'll be. So
I was laughing my butt off yesterday. You told me, I forgot what we were talking about in Messenger. And you were like, yeah, well, we beat racism. Oh, no, the icons. I got my Negro cons.
Yeah,
I got all my Negro cons. I never saw them before. And I guess all the Negroes knew that you press and you hold and you move it to share a Negro con, to change a yellow con from a white con. You got to go past the Asian con. You get to the Negro con.
But they are color coded, so you can go from light all the way to dark. Isn't that nice? Colors, darling. Colors, sweetheart.
You and I, we got to go all the way to the right. See, I went midway and I stopped and I said, nope, that looked kind of pinkish to me. And I went to the next level. Said, that's looking brownish. They go like Donnie Simpson. I didn't even go a little further. Now, it was the Elder Barge, and I went all the way to the right. But so this is the first time on my phone, it's a default where they're all showing up Negro. And I'm trying to figure out what was the racism that everybody was yellow? Was the racism that they looked at my demographics and gave me Negro cons? Which one is it?
No. There's complaints about it. Oh yeah. The youth and everybody complained about it. This site is too white. It's too white. We need We need representation, representation, darling. So,
is it white? Facebook is white. They did that. It's whiteness.
apparently, to people that don't understand that that's not a thing, but this is what I mean. They fight for superficial things because the hard things are too hard. So they'll fight for like syrup bottles and statues.
Yeah, sugar.
Like the things that actually institutionalize their problem, they won't even address because they're completely dependent on those things. Entirely dependent. Can't do anything about it.
I'm gonna get in trouble with you, but I'm gonna make an excuse for the young people, and I'm gonna say the young people don't know no better. They're the adults and the professors are.
Well, you know what? Youth is not an age issue; it's a mentality.
Oh yes, yes. Well, I mean, there's a whole frontal lobe thing that's happening too, because I think between 20 something and 26, the frontal lobe is formed, and for some people it forms earlier than others. But they abuse those kids, and they get. And this is actually my analysis of what's happening in the streets right now. Is you've been for years teaching hate is great. You've been teaching that the white people done it to me, and the white people, and we got to fight the white. And finally, these kids have graduated. They got college. They went to college. They got their degrees. They got their jobs. And something happens, and it's like a Manchurian candidate, right? They've been teaching to be an ally. You got to go in the street, put that plastic chain around your neck because you're white, and beat yourself in the head with something. Wear a sign. They're teaching that, right? And then when everything blew up, like a Manchurian candidate, like clockwork, the DNC, which created the crime bill that put all the black people in prison that nobody likes to talk about, and they created the KKK, they snapped the finger, and now all of these young people in the street doing what their parents won't do, fighting with police and what the politicians and the politicians won't do. My take on that is they need to go start arresting these damn professors. I think inciting a riot is still a crime in this country. And if you've been teaching hate, I don't want none of those young kids in any kind of prison, jail, lockup, record, nothing, because
they're not thinking long term. They're just thinking immediate, as we did too. That's why I don't really blame them for it. I remember though, because we did the same thing. Right. We're just not used to being older than them now. We're used to being the kids. When we did Occupy Wall Street, we did the same thing. We were the Occupy Wall Street. So.
Well, see, no, and I will say to me is a big difference in Occupy Wall Street and what's happening now.
We were a little bit more contained. We were better about it, but
and knew what the hell was going on. I wasn't a part of Occupy Wall Street. I'm still a little older, and I was kind of sit back. I had friends at work, and I'll tell you this: my friends at work never went back to activism again. Whatever.
I didn't. I was like, bye. Good luck on your journey.
If you actually take on the system, if you actually do something that might work, the state will come down on you hardcore. If you're doing something that's not going to work, they'll put some bricks on the road for you.
They'll film you, give you funding. Yeah, they love it.
Oh, they love it, like, because you're not going to affect the money. The black politicians going to keep writing books. They're going to keep giving speeches, making big money. And the other side, the right, that now you piss people off, got them joining the Klan and the skinheads and flocking to the right because y'all beating up white folk in the street. And so everyone gets paid, but the poor people. Everybody gets paid. And so I think the difference, though, is just when Occupy Wall Street targeted the money. It targeted the money, which is the closest relationship to the power, which is what you started off talking about. Everything is about control and power. And if you challenge that, you will know. If you're not challenging it, they'll cheer you on.
And it depends on how you're doing it. As you said, it depends on how you're doing it. As Beaufort just said, you can't overthrow anything violently. They want you to do that. They've planned specifically for violence. That they haven't planned is for you to take back your rights as a person, for you to be self-actualized, for you to understand sovereignty, for you to understand private versus public trusts and civics. And they don't want you to know any of those things because that might actually stop their control aspect, of which they need consent. They need consent to rule. They cannot rule without consent. They cannot. It is factually impossible for psychopaths to operate unless you give them consent. That's it. That's the only thing people won't accept. They just won't accept that. So,
and that's what the deep right and the deep left all agree.
Yep.
They all agree on. Y'all fighting the hell out of each other. They do not agree on giving you your rights back. They don't agree on giving your land back. They don't agree on giving your resources back. So while what we just said might have pissed some people off, this is what you need to do. You need to throw out everything you learned in little silly universities and go educate yourself on what the system wants from you.
John Show says that apparently once time I told him his opinion doesn't matter because he's white. Well, I must have been young and stupid at that point because I mean I remember I came from the leftist critique, so that's where I came from. I used to be an extreme leftist, yes, and
Yeah.
that was an ignorant stance to take because it's ignorant. To say people's
But
opinions are invalidated because of their skin tone is ignorant. That was an ignorant thing that I said. Then, if that was true, then that's ignorance.
it
It's
was,
just plain ignorance. It has nothing to do with
it
facts or
was.
reality or anything. It's just stupidity on my part.
It,
So
well, it was, but I'm gonna go back and agree with old Ty. I'm pissed off a lot. I like to piss people off. Something. No, I'm agree with because back then Ty was who Ty was supposed to be at that time. Ty was supposed to be, and the data that Ty had, the oppression that Ty faced, what Ty was dealing with, Ty reflected exactly who Ty was supposed to be at that time. Right now, because of that, you learn from it. He learned from it. Maybe other people learn from it. Like my view on things is I think everybody is perfect but me. I'm just working on me. I'm not worried about where anybody else is at. But I
how could
think
you? How could you? You're not responsible for everybody else.
right.
So yeah.
It's like the kids in the street. They're out there doing exactly what they're supposed to do unless you're watching us right now. And if you're watching us right now, you need to process whether or not you are doing something that's fighting the power or if you are holding the power in place.
Mm-hmm. And there's multiple ways in which it is. I think we get sidetracked and thinking it's one way or we're like, oh, no, got him. No. There's a reason why it's called the Project for the New American Century, of course, renamed since then. But they spent a century to design this, to socially control every aspect and dynamic of this, every resource. They've thought about it. They're 140 steps ahead at all times. At all times. They know they can trick us into doing things. They can make us disbelieve things. They can make us believe things. They can do all those if we're not paying attention, if we're not thinking for ourselves, if we're just relying on an authority figure, that appeal to authority that we have intrinsically within us, that can be utilized. It really can be very easily, quite easily, out of ignorance, out of desire for goodwill, out of desire for communication, out of desire for community. They can utilize that and play it against itself. They can play psyops against other psyops that they've also designed. That's how intrinsic they are. So people just think they just have like a quick solution. There are no quick solutions. There are no quick solutions. It's all about the self-work. It's the going in, not the outward blame. And it took me a long time to learn that, a very, very long time, because I wanted to blame the rich, I wanted to blame white people, I wanted to blame conservatives, I wanted to blame, you know what I mean? The government, that ambiguous name, the government, business, just, you know what I mean? Like we're just outsourcing blame rather than going, here's where I'm responsible in that problem. I bought from that corporation. I did this. I drank their alcohol. I did it. I did it. Not them. They didn't do anything to me. I did it to myself.
Juan is in Colombia right now, earning pennies on the coffee I'm drinking. Like,
yes.
And so to a degree, the beauty of that though is that we all are sellouts, and that's the beauty. The beauty is it takes away your anger for anybody else, and all you got to do is use what you can to get away from your consent to this particular system if you actually want to fight the system. But short of that, it's just being complicit and going along, get along. I think we lost it with Eddie Bernays. That's what I think. I think that when Eddie Bernays came along and he took that from his uncle Sigmund Freud and the psychology of how to control people. If y'all haven't read the book Propaganda, please read it. It'll explain to you why you do what you do, and it explains what Ty just said, which is they planned this for a long time. Once they figured out how to abuse us through psychology or control us through psychology, there's so many steps ahead. The mainstream media came along, but they didn't even need it because back then they were controlling the population with radio and black and white TV. Now they got
easily trick you. He was quite brilliant. He was he was evil. He was evil, but he was brilliant. He was quite brilliant. The fact that there's so many different things he did. He got women to smoke. He got us to do all the whole bunch of crazy just to see if we could, just to see if they actually would do it, and we did it every time, every single time, every single time. Yep, it's amazing. It's very impressive work. I want people to be impressed by the cabal. They get mad at me because I'm like, why do you like the cabal? I'm like, I don't like them. I'm impressed by them. I respect their work because they care. They care enough to do all this. We don't care enough to take responsibility for our own resources or anything. They do. They care about every dynamic that is put out. They care deeply about it. They really do. So if we don't care, then there's no reason for us to be mad at people that do care. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't.
And they love their own. They love their own. They protect their own. And every now and then
we don't protect our own. They do.
They'll pull their own out of prison. they'll fake suicides.
Oh yeah.
They'll give one island to fool everybody, and they got 100
They'll do
Epstein
whatever it
Islands.
takes. They'll do whatever
They'll,
it takes to save
they'll do
their
it.
bloodline. They will do whatever is necessary. And we're
They
not
will
at
do
that position. We're not there. We're just
across.
idealistically there. Yeah.
No, we're fighting each
So,
other. And so I agree with you. I absolutely agree that these people are genius from that. I respect the love that they have for each other. I respect the camaraderie they have, their solidarity. Sometimes I often think, Todd, I'm on the wrong damn team. What you think?
well, the thing is that the problem with them is that they're also cannibalistic, though. We're not. So that's the whole issue. That's why they rely on us to do the work, because they don't really have any talents or anything. They're relying on us to do it for them. They're manipulating us, So, but they will turn on each other the moment they need to. They will do that. They don't really have alliances because of their chaos magic. So they don't really care about alliances per se. They just care about procuring their own thing. So if another person gets in the way of that, they'll turn on that person. Whereas we don't do that. That's why we're able to be tricked, because we're gullible. And we care about our family. So if they steal our family or do something or threaten our family, we'll back down because we want to save our family. They won't. They don't care about that aspect. So that's the difference.
So they're loyal.
Our side takes longer because we're builders, not destroyers. So
But we
building
love it
takes
like
longer than destruction. So.
Yep. Our love is more, it's smaller community, family based, and that's where our loyalties lie. Even race maybe, but their loyalties lie in business partnerships and contracts, and you manufacture the propeller, I make the drone, we put it together, we bomb and murder nations. And so I think they all agree on dominating all of us. And then even within, they've got that business contract stuff working together, trade agreements and whatever else. And they'll fight each other on that, which is what I think is happening. I think you have a global struggle that's happening, whether it was a currency that tipped it over or the fiat currency, which I think it was, because they've been predicting that for the longest time. But now you have multiple factions that are fighting over who owns Earth.
And you know what? And they have to, because that's the downside of being wealthy, is that the wealthy spend the rest of their lives procuring their wealth. That's the downside of it. That's not everything. It's the law of polarity. The law of polarity, as above, so below. So they will have to deal with the correspondence of what they do. So they might be wealthy, but then they have to spend the rest of their lives not enjoying that wealth. They have to procure it the rest of their lives.
Right. Waiting for someone. And this, you don't actually have to know anyone who's wealthy. All you got to know is the rich people. Right. The more you make, you got to move out the community. You got to have the gated community. The more you have, now you got to have security on your apps. You might need to have a security person out front. You might have to have a card. It's got whatever you need, security at work. And so it steps up. But every time you step up, you go to a new community. You go to a new, and you're the lower rung of that community. And so you got to fight to make more and fight to keep what you have, because everybody beneath you is trying to climb up. Whereas you're a poor person, you got some stress. You may not have bacon and broccoli in the fridge, but you can sleep at night. These people are sleeping with one eye open because they're competing on all levels against each other and to keep us where we are.
Exactly. And it's that allegory of like the fish in the big pond, where like you become the biggest fish in the pond, and then eventually you move to another pond with even bigger fish, and then then you start the cycle all over again. It was rings within rings within rings within rings. That's why it's not so. People think they're just going to get the cabal. I'm like, no, dear. That's why they insulate themselves with using gatekeepers and the populace and everything else. That you have to go through mini bosses before you can even touch these people. Before we're even at that junction, we don't even know who they are yet. We just call them the cabal because we don't know who they are. So we're not even at the position to take them down yet. We're not there. We're just
You gave me an analogy for like Mario Brothers. We aren't at the end of the level. We've never even fought the big boss. We're still at the beginning, jumping up and down, trying to figure out how to hit our head on the thing to get the coins.
Exactly.
And if whether or not Mario and Luigi should be fighting each other instead of fighting, what's his name, Mongo, whoever was at the end of the level. Bowser. We haven't even started on that. We haven't jumped over no pits. We haven't swung on no rope. We haven't done anything. We're still at the beginning. Step one, the music is still playing. And we haven't even started yet. And but as negative as that sounds,
it's not really that. It's just people won't come to terms with it. So they need to acknowledge what that is and go, okay, here's my place, and here's how we can build up to do. Because remember, we're building. There's more of us than there is of them. So we already outnumber them. It's just we won't take the action necessary to do so. So like I'm always
Right.
positive about it. I'm always like, I already know we've won. Like I have a conviction in my mind. This we're the
Oh,
light.
yes,
So we've already won. It's just a matter
right.
of how we do it. It's not that we do it, it's how we do so. People just don't believe in tactics. They think because they're emotional that means that they have some an ideology that therefore they have it. No, no. Tactically, how will you do it? Tactically. Because the cabal cares about tactics. Yeah, that's what they care about. And that's how they're able to get us. Because we just think
Right.
if we just power through with idealism, we'll get there. We're not. They can use our idealism against us. So that's what it is. So
Well, and thus fighting from a principle level. Like I love the art of war, and I love. I
yes,
mean, I've read
I
that little
do.
book
Yes,
many
indeed.
times. Like I love it, and so like, and this is why I like Turn, Washington Spies. Everything is strategy. You have to think
Yes.
about what your enemy want. How do you deny that? What do they
Yes.
need? How do you deny that? And what do they not want you to do? Where do they
And
expect you to
playing their
move?
weaknesses, turning their as the rich do, turning the liabilities into assets.
Right.
Turn
Doing what
liabilities into assets.
am I consenting? How do I remove my consent? Right? Am I purchasing from them? Am I working for them? Is paying
Right.
taxes helping me or hurting me? I'm going to the protest with some new Nikes on. Like, I think there's a whole bunch of stuff to that. But, you know, when you're fighting an invisible enemy, you don't even know his name is Bowser yet. You're still at the beginning of the level. You don't even know the rules of the game. You don't know that you got to collect coins to get to the end of the level. You're just
Yeah.
fighting with Luigi because Luigi's got brown hair and you got white hair or something.
Yeah. And you're
You have
dying the whole time, trying to figure it out, die multiple times, many
right.
sacrifices. Yeah.
You know, well, that was Pac-Man. But you keep dying, and I think so. At the beginning of the level, you have to think about the art of war. You know, so think about an invisible enemy. What am I not supposed? What do they want me to do, and what should I not be doing? Right? What do I deny them? They want the land, they want the resources, they want the water, they want all the things that control the human race. And so if
Yeah.
that's what they want, you don't actually have to see Bowser. You may not even have to collect coins necessarily. You just need to deny them what you want, what they want, and that will progress you towards meeting Bowser, like Occupy. When you
Yes.
actually go after the power structure, oh, they'll show up. Bowser ain't gonna wait for you to get to the end of the level. Bowser's
No,
gonna
yeah,
come
yeah.
find
He'll come get you. He'll come get you.
you. Don't know. What
Yeah.
oh, that's what I had to say something with what you said earlier. Violence. Some people still don't process that's what they want you to do. They
Yeah.
want you to be violent. They want you to burn down things. They want you to fight in the street. You are opposing the most violent government this planet has ever seen. Ever.
Mhm.
They're so violent that people in the government don't even know how violent they are, right? Because it's decompartmentalized, layers upon layers, and
Yep.
pentagons, and we don't even know what we're doing. Yeah, that congressman not too long ago was like, "Oh, some soldiers died in Niger," and he's like, "Where's Niger? We had soldiers over
Yeah,
there."
you know. You
So,
didn't know where it is. Yeah, they're compartmentalized away from each other for that reason. Because then nobody
right.
can be, they can't. There's no because if we're actually connected, that's why they call what we do here. They call that terrorism. The FBI calls it terrorism, crowdsourcing, because that's what
Yeah.
the CIA does. So if we do it better than the CIA, then the CIA doesn't need to exist. So technically, we're terrorists for doing this, just for connecting. That's all. No
What
other,
is the
not
name?
a crime, just for connecting on social media and decompartmentalizing ourselves away from it. The fact that there are conservatives here and drag queens and me and random people. No, that's a crime to the people in control. So what does that mean? That means we should do it even more. That's what that means. That's what
I'm
it
going to
means.
explain. I'll explain what you said in the other way, right? The only time the system comes for you is when you actually figure out how to put people together. Martin Luther King was fine when he was marching for black people. They didn't care. The system couldn't
Mhm.
care less about it. You go out in the street, shut down some bridges, shut down the city, do whatever you want, you know. But the minute Martin Luther King started standing up for poor white people and poor Vietnamese kids and was
Yep,
anti-war, he actually
yep,
fought the system. They murdered him. The
yep. The
interesting
very
part,
second, the very second
the
he started turning on them for money, they were like,
they knocked
uh
Fred
oh,
Hampton. Fred Hampton was
Fred
the other
Hampton,
example. As long
move
as he was a
bombing,
Black
move
Panther and
bombing. Yes, indeed.
violent and fighting and showing guns, as long as you, the most violent government in the world, love you to death because you're speaking their language. They can't wait to bring you some bombs and drones and
You know what's
burn down.
really interesting about that, Gerard, is that I've had that fight with my family back when I was younger. Somehow I saw through it even as a teenager. I don't know how I did this, but for some reason, I think it's because I grew up as a gay male. So when I grew up, I fought my parents because my family was part of Black Panthers, still technically is. But I didn't like Malcolm X's rhetoric. I didn't like how angry and vitriolic he was against like white people and all this stuff. I was like, this is not helpful. I could see how they craved violence. They craved it. They really did. They wanted revenge and vengeance. And I was like, I don't think that's how we do this. And you know how I learned from that was from Bayard Rustin and James Baldwin, the two black gay secularists that were like, let's work together as a cohesive unit. I was like, this is a better outlook than let's be violent against people that are poor but also different skin tones. That's just not how. I just didn't think that was an ethical stance to take. But I fought with my parents about that for a long time. There was a long fight about that. So,
well, what I love, and I mean, coming from the IT world, being a systems engineer, like I think about it from a systems engineering perspective, right?
Right.
You have a system that's based in power. If you ever oppose it, it's going to show you the power. Like it's not even about politicians, and this is an engine that you're dealing with, right? You have senators and mailmen and executives and lawyers and everybody in these corporations that create this economic machine, right? All the way up through industry, through government and everything. And when you actually oppose that, you will see the full brunt of the system. So, but the only thing that it fears is your success in bringing people together to actually oppose the system. And they have a place in prison for you. They got it's got your name on it, Ty. You have a cell.
Oh yeah, it's right there,
and it's right like the darkest prison. And I might have one too. I hope I got one. That means I'm doing the right thing.
Anyone who's trying to be independent, they're coming for us first. They don't want independence because they can't do anything if you're independent. I keep trying to tell people that. I was like, if you were in control of your water, your money, your food supply, your housing, if you were in control of all that, why would you be angry? You wouldn't be. Right. You'd be independent. They don't want you independent. The moment you're independent, it's over for them. The very second that happens. The very second. So,
the moment you become successful at it is the way I see it. Yeah. Like you can do it as long as you're not succeeding. You can figure out the matrix. You can be Neo, but as long as you're Neo and you're not changing nothing, you ain't flying around nowhere, fighting no agents, you're good to go. The minute you get good at it, they're gonna murder you. And that's what Fred Hampton did, is he went and he started working with the Ku Klux Klan. He figured the system out. And as soon as he did that, they murdered him in the bed. So there was something else you said. This is the problem. We gotta talk a little more often, because if we talk like live stream once a year, this would take like 8 hours. But there's so much that happens in between. The CMUs, right? I forgot what CMU stands for. Somebody here might know what it is, but this is where they put the activists that figure it out, the people who actually succeed. The terrorists, they get nice little cells, cushy, get a sofa or something and a toilet.
Interesting, huh? Isn't that interesting? How their cells are so much nicer than regular people's. Very interesting. Very interesting stuff.
Yes, they get to go in the yard, but the CMU, that's lockdown. That is, you have no influence, you have no access. You don't even have the bars. It's the guy was describing it. They actually, I think he finally got out. It was like a plexiglass door. It's isolation. It's called a CMU.
Yes, to drive you insane. Yes, isolation. Yep.
You are
because notice it's the criminal justice system, not the American justice system. Criminal justice system. Criminal justice.
Yes.
Justice for criminals. That's why. That's exactly why. So
crime pays. Crime always pays. Dismantling the system will get you murdered, but crime always pays. What do you think about these masks? Are you wearing a mask?
I don't, but I have mine. I'm going to show you. I love to wear it outside sometimes. There's just certain places I have to wear it in, and I was like, okay, then I'll just mock you while I do it. Mine's covered in rhinestones because it's about control, not safety. So that's covered in rhinestones. I make it like fashionable and fun, and I tell people, I haven't washed this since I bought it 4 months ago. I just want them to understand that it's not about safety, because then they have to acknowledge, because they think it's about safety, right? No, haven't washed it. It's covered in rhinestones. Is that how you treat biohazard material? Do you have light-up masks and fun shit? No, that's not how biohazards work, guys. That's not how they work. It's about control, not safety. Inform them that it is. Inform them that it is. Mock them openly with it. That's how you do it. And I see people say it loudly in the store. I see it loudly at King Super, because I don't wear it in the store. I just have it. I hold it like I have it like dangling off an ear, and I'm just walking around. Nobody says shit to me. They let me in the store. They don't do anything because I think it's funny, and then I just mock them. And then every single time that we go to the store and then we check out, I'm like, I'm so glad you all cleaned these keypads off. No, didn't? So you're lying then. Cool, thanks. And then people walk and walk out. See how stupid you sound? Yeah, I like to embarrass people in public about the things that they're not thinking about. I love to embarrass them. I love to. Because then they take it off immediately. Take the mask off. Okay, this is stupid. I had an Uber driver do that. He's like, yeah, this is kind of stupid. I'm like, isn't it stupid? Just think about it for a minute. Just think about it. It's stupid. You know what it is. Now stop. Be an adult, not a spoiled, neurotic child. People that like this mask thing are neurotic. They really are. They're neurotic children. They're high schoolers. That haven't grown up, that are seeking protection from mommy and daddy. They need to grow up. But I tell people youth is a mind frame. There are plenty of adults that act like children, plenty of them. But if you're going to act like a child, you'll be treated like a child. And the state will treat you like a child. And corporations will treat you like a child. If you act that way, it's that simple. It really is. If you act like a child, you'll be treated like a child. It's that simple. It really is. So.
Well, I think this was the instrumental power behind Obama being the president. Right? Because what they did is they took politics, which that I know of, it's never been cool. It's never been cool. You were never cool in politics. Nobody want anything to do when you show up, start talking politics, people go the other way. So what they did is they made politics sexy again. And so now you got like a whole generation who are like ready to get engaged in things that don't change any damn thing ever, or never have. Never have.
Yeah, never have.
When you look at things from a model perspective,
readjust it again, and then push back out.
It's like the whole Abraham Lincoln thing. I can't believe that we're even still talking about Abraham Lincoln. He didn't go to free no damn slaves, people. I don't know why people still believe this narrative. Like,
because they didn't read the Emancipation Proclamation. They didn't actually read that document. They just think they've read it. They didn't read it. So,
right. And this is why I didn't. This is why they're knocking statues down, right? Because they believe you see a Dixie sign, it means you got to fight. No, it actually means that the South that had different principles, they just felt that they should have some slaves and had a cotton and shouldn't share the tax money with the North.
I know the North wanted slaves too. That's why people hate me in Denver, because I still call it the War of Northern Aggression, because that's what it was. New York was the second to last city to abolish slavery. Why? Because the business people wanted slaves, not poor people. Poor people in the South. Business owners wanted slaves. So the North actually it was a labor dispute. It was a labor dispute. Because we're all indentured servants and prisoners of war. This is not a color issue. It's a labor dispute about who owns what money and resources around. That's all there was to it. People just don't like that. It's just been told that they've written this in a certain way where we think it's about color. It's not about color at all. Never was. Never was at any time. Not at any time.
I'll prove it to you. Everybody who doesn't have a smartphone, raise your hand. Everybody with brown skin that does not have a smartphone. I can't do it.
You better stop. Don't be calling bitches out now. Don't just call a bitch out.
This is the thing, is that you know that Black lives in Africa don't matter because we all
clearly not. Clearly not, because what do they have? Because how do we get the phones? We need to mine their cobalt, their titanium, and everything else, and we use oil to do it. Liberals, we use oiled machines to mine that for your phones. Good luck though. Good luck though on your racism thing. Good luck with that.
Let me know when you win. Let me know. Just send me an email when racism bows down and racism has a white flag and it holds it up. But that's a good thing, because if people realize that you're a sellout, no matter who you are, the system is so ingenious. It's designed.
We're all guilty. We're all guilty by this. Yep, guilty at birth. Guilty by birth. Yep.
It means you got to ally with whoever they're telling you is your enemy. It means that you all got that in common. And that's the beautiful thing. I was looking at white slavery. I spent the time looking at white slavery. Yeah, white slavery is interesting. Have you looked into white slavery?
Of course, that's where this term comes from. It's from the Slavic slaves. Slavic. Those were the first slaves. And I'm 17% Irish, so that's why. So I was a slave, both white and black.
We're related in so many ways. Because I got the Irish people in me. I don't know what the percentage is. I was afraid of that 23andMe. My little sister did that nonsense, so I know what's in me.
I mean, they were going to get it anyway, so it's better just to know where you can. But I would actually trace it through records rather than that. But you can do it. It's possible. So yeah.
So the beautiful thing is, so I got this little old Irish white lady in my family, and I got some British people deep down, deep in the South, and I got the African folk. And the way that I get down is like, you know what? I've got to be obligated to all my ancestors. I think all of my ancestors all did what they had to do, when they
Yep.
had to do it, how they had to do it, for as long as they had to do it. And odds are, if I was them, I'd probably do the same damn thing. And so
Yep.
I think being
How would you?
honest
How would you not?
and
You know?
right. Listen, you know what? I'm not in prison, Ty. You know what that means? That means I'm selling out pretty damn good, ain't it? That means
Yeah.
I'm excelling in my slavery of today.
And I'm
And
not
that's what
homeless, so I can't be bitching about my life as a spoiled American. Whereas I don't live in South Africa where my food lines have been cut because hashtag Makuku virus, and you know what I mean. So
oh, I love the cuckoo virus. I tell you
I
what,
love
this
it.
might save the
I
world.
love it.
It might save the world. I'm not ready for this to end. I think that well, so a fun thing about the Great Depression, which we're going into. So if you don't know how to can food, you ain't got friends who know how to grow, you're gonna have to work on that a little bit. Is that
Indeed.
the zombie apocalypse thing? It never happened. People never went and started fighting each other and riot and burn stuff down. They actually pulled together. They were adults and they said, you know what? We get it. The elites are up to something with that whole Federal Reserve, and they played around with the bank holiday. We really don't know what's going on, but down the street, this person can put up windows, and down the street, that person is sowing. That is a farmer down there is growing that, and I can do
Yep.
this. Let's pull together because it's us versus them. It's always been us versus them. We got fooled for a little while. We thought this whole white black thing was real. We thought this whole class struggle thing was real, while some people sit at the top and they don't do a damn thing. And so in the Great Depression, more than anything else, everybody pulled together. And I'm hoping that the cuckoo virus will actually get people pulled in. This
Oh,
whole
well.
ignorant thing.
They won't
about,
survive if they don't. They will not survive in the future if they don't. We were talking about this yesterday on my cast yesterday. They were like, we all have our specialties, and that's why we've become the underground. We are the new version of speakeasies where we are just connecting with as many different people with as many different trades. Everyone learn trades. Utilize your trades for the benefit of the whole. Start teaching sewing classes and how to grow food and what technology is and how gold works. Whatever your specialty is, start doing that immediately and spread it around. And that's how we gain each other's knowledge. We gain knowledge through the experience of other people, through talking with them and interacting with them. That's why we're such a threat. That's why they consider what we're doing, which is called crowdsourcing. They consider that to be terrorism because it will invalidate their control. It will invalidate it. They won't serve any function or purpose if we're doing it. So
the struggles are against powers and principalities, and as long as you fight from that perspective, you actually will be fighting the correct. I like the word fight. As long as you are struggling, which could just be walking away, removing your consent against the powers and principalities, you'll be struggling against the right thing. If you're struggling against anything on television, anything in the news, anything that's popular, anything that puts together a lot of people who have a lot of things in common, you are wasting everybody's time, and you are part of the system.
It's sad.
Well, it is, but people aren't trained this way. They're not trained to critically think. I think there are those of us who have a natural knack for like saying no. Like, you know what changed me? I was telling people the other day on the cast, Bart Simpson. I remember when I was watching The Simpsons, and I guess I might have been 10 or something like that. I don't remember. Bart was a kid, and he was an episode, and I think somebody had challenged him, and said, well, who are you, or something like that. And he's like, I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you? And I was just like, wow. I was like, you can talk to adults like that? Like, you actually can stand up for yourself?
Oh, yeah.
You can
and specifically the way he said it, and that's why names are very important, specifically in witchcraft and other things. Names are very important. Very, very important. Your name is very, very important. It's very powerful. Yes. It means something. It really does.
I'm going to see if I can
it
find
really
it.
Does. So
the vibration of it. I mean, the way he said, I was like, I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you?
Right, I'm Bart Simpson. Who the fuck are you?
That's what we heard as kids.
Queen.
You're breathing my oxygen. You're in my space. Hey, you need to back up a little bit. I'm feeling
that's also
energy.
a running joke we have in like the gay community when we don't acknowledge a person and they're like, it's this person. I'm like, who? Is she a rapper? I don't know her. Who is that, darling? I don't know who that is, sweetie. I don't know who that is, darling. I don't know who that is.
I do have to say though that as communities go, and I'm not a community person. I don't believe in
I'm not
nobody's
either. Actually, that word is overutilized and become very culty, and I hate it. But yeah, I understand.
I have to say though, as much as communities go, I do enjoy LGBTQ. Why? Because y'all are the most. I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you people that I love it, and I don't mean by you people. I don't mean nothing by that. I'm just simply
Oh yeah,
saying
of
the
course.
people who identify with that community
Yeah,
are quick.
we're very brazen these days.
When to go, how to get there, who you can take, and when you're gonna be allowed to come back. And I think that's part of why you get away with not wearing a mask. I'm a little jelly. I gotta admit that. I feel like a punk. I'll go to the Home Depot and I'll put the mask. I have like this
Well,
bank
that's what it is. I can play I can play the left's dynamic against them because I'm formerly them. So therefore, they can't do anything. Like they can't arrest me, they can't attack me because it would be racism if they attacked me, or it would be homophobia if they attacked me. So they can't. They're just stuck with it. They're stuck with it. This is what happens when you don't understand your ideologies. They can be used against you. I can play your ideology back at you. That's the funny part. That's the funny part. So,
because they're writing laws now. They're saying that black people don't have to wear masks in certain states. They're saying that in California you can't sing in churches. Like they're basically taking the power and they're just smacking people in the faces. Like, look, y'all gave us this power, and we're gonna keep smacking you like your little petulant children until you take that power back.
Talk about privileges, huh? Now they're giving privileges to certain people, which means the privilege is given. Which is what me and Danielle talk about this all the time. When they say there's white privilege, there might be white privilege, but guess what privilege means? Somebody gave it to them. Thank you for playing, though. Cute try. Cute try. Yeah. There is no white privilege, dear. They gave it to them. Do you see? So you're all exactly in the same position. You're all in the same position. There is no, we need to raise black people. No. You need to all raise together because you're all serfs. You're all poor. They don't care what poor people do. They don't give a fuck. You're all poor. Don't you understand? That's the issue.
It would bless anyone who does not understand what Ty is saying to go look up the history of race, right? Go look up the history of race. Go look up the Rwandan genocide. Go look
the Haitian Revolution, the census, the Georgia House resolutions. Do all of that.
Race name cards, look at how they always play everyone against each other. But when you are struggling against white people, you have to understand that they made them like they made you, right? And they did it to separate you. Well, you know what? I sit here and I say this all the time. I feel like I repeat my damn self too much. I'm kind of getting tired of this time. I think I'm gonna go join Chesterfield Montgomery somewhere. I still can't do the best live stream I've ever seen in my life. Oh boy, I was gonna get out there and go do some voting. Oh, I was registered to vote. It's Lori's right there. They show right there. Lori, Lori's right there. I was getting ready to go out there and vote and change my world. I said, oh no, we're gonna bring the Green Party. Yeah, I knew what I was doing. Yeah, we're not gonna do Republican and Democrat. We're gonna do Green Party. We're gonna change the world. We're gonna change that. And you were there. Oh, the Greens are here. Oh my God. What will
we do now that the Greens are here?
What are we gonna do?
I'm such a douchebag. Do you see? Do you see why you hate me? Because I just mock them right to their face, just ridicule and insult them, and they're like, "God damn it, I hate that guy." And I'm like, "Well, then stop pretending like you matter more than you actually do, because you don't. We don't care." That's the funny part.
This is why I tell y'all, don't break tie. Do not tell other people what to do. Don't shame nobody. Keep to your damn self, because that's exactly how I needed to hear it. I needed to sit right there and hear it exactly that damn way. I needed to feel like if anybody is upset with us right now because you got your Sharpie out, you about the Black Lives, you get tomato on.
Right. Before you do your blog, just hold on, everyone.
Hold on a second. Like I tell my brothers this all the time. They always get, oh man, I got books and books of text messages on this damn slavery cotton device. And I'm just like, listen, guys, I love you, you're my brother. I know you're stupid. In public, there's a lot of ignorant people out there, but you might run into somebody who actually does their homework. You might run into someone that actually knows where black and white came from. So before you get out there and struggling, do your homework. And so if anybody's feeling that burn right now and you pissed off, you like looking at us, you got that snot bubble getting hot. That's how I felt when Ty told me, it wasn't Ty, Chesterfield Montgomery. When Chesterfield Montgomery told me to go on, get out there, get my vote on, that the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, they don't need that. Oh, who won the election? What's an election? That sounds
what else did I say in that cast? I was like, oh, what will Goldman Sachs do now, darling? What will we do?
Like they literally pick the deep state. They pick the cabinets for the presidents. And it's just, but you know, and that's the thing is that I believe that everybody is spiritually driven. I believe that everybody has a role to play. And if you don't break nobody else, they're going to play their role. And that's exactly why I need. So if you feel that burn because somebody said something and you ain't feeling it, you don't like it, you don't appreciate it, it just doesn't go along with your indoctrination, just do your homework. You're either playing this thing popular, you're playing it for ego, or you're playing because you want to win or you want to free humanity from what's locked it up for 3,000 freaking years. And so to me, I'm like at my end of it, man. I turned on the Black Caucus, I turned on the DNC.
Oh yeah, I'm done. You know what? It was people like Atentatuk L and Emmers and all that were like that showed me in law. All I did was just study law for a while, and they're like, just read these things. And I read it, I was like, oh, white and black are legal statuses. They're statuses of pristine. They're not. They have nothing to do with your skin color or anything. They are literally legal statuses that you claim. I can claim to be white. White, so-called pale-faced people can claim to be black. The color of law. They're statuses. They have nothing to do with their ethnicity at all. They're legal statuses. That's what they are.
They did it. They did it.
They did. Through the census, they did do it. Yes.
There was another law. It was it's the Moroccan Treaty or something like that. I forgot the name of it. Where a bunch of what you call black folk, Negro or whatever, they fought the system. They said, no, we're not Negro. We're Moroccan, and you have a treaty with the
They have nationalities, not colors. There you go. Exactly. There you go. Same thing for white people. There are no white people. There are no white people. You have nationalities. You're Irish. You're Yugoslavian. You're Romanian. You are not colors. You're nationalities. Take back your nationality.
And why would anybody want to keep that alive? Like you literally had a bunch of billionaires sit around and said, you know what? You're stupid. You're our slave. We're going to call you white to protect you from the other people that are stupid. We call them black. And we're going to put you just above them. Y'all still slaves. Y'all still service. You got to pay your taxes. You got to work for us. You will never be free. But we're going to use you as a buffer between. And it's just like, why would you want to keep the legacy alive of criminal families that literally disrespected, raped, pillaged, robbed all of your ancestors, all of them, dragged them away from their lands, whether by chain or by poverty, indentured servitude? Why the hell would you want to keep these evil psychopaths' legacy alive out there in the street fighting for them, for their labels that they put on?
Yes, for their labor, yeah. And then also people won't go back and research. Now that we have the internet, there's no excuse for ignorance. If you go back and research the history of things, you'll realize that every mainstream narrative is a obfuscation. It's a misconstruction of things. So like we realized the Titanic was caused on purpose. We realized that they actually didn't bring a lot of us here. We were already here. We're prisoners of war. We're indentured servants. They didn't bring us here. We were already here. We're natives of the land. We are the Niji. We were already here. They lie about everything so they can steal your resources and your mind. And that's really what it is. That's really what it is.
There was another group. So it was interesting when they took Puerto Rico. When they took Puerto Rico, like, first of all, Puerto Rico's not a place. Ain't no Puerto Rican on this planet. Ain't never been a Puerto Rican. Ain't never been no African.
Correct.
They named a bunch of tribes. I believe the Puerto Ricans were called the Tanos, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right. I think that's right. Yeah.
I know I'm messing it up. I'm probably saying it wrong.
It's hard to, languages. We're Americans, guys. Give us some credit. We're Americans.
We speak English. We have one word for like
which is a commerce trade language. Everyone, just so you understand that it's a commerce trade language. So that's why we speak English. That's why we do. So
there were dark-skinned people all over North America. So in Puerto Rico, you had dark-skinned people who there was some sort of a manifest that listed them, and they looked like Aborigines, and so I think they listed them as Aborigines. You had the Olmec. They were dark. The Native Americans had tales of dark Indians. And so people have like spread all over this planet for the longest time. And just because the person with the most cannons of guns showed up and said that that's who you are, that's not who you are. It's not even what
Exactly.
you are, you know? And so
because we're not crayons. We're not crayons. To even have this ideology of crayonness, you're this crayon color. This is a neurotic sign. It's very sad. It's very sad to watch grown adults pretend like they are colors. I really am embarrassed by that. I'm very embarrassed by it.
How more derogatory can you be to take a person, all their collective ancestry, and say you're white or you're black? You know,
so embarrassing.
Ty,
so
stop
embarrassing.
it. I'm gonna fix it because we're pox. We're people of color. We're different. It's better. And it's the same damn thing. And it's just like, you know what? I'm so done with this game. I'm just like this. Look, people, you know what? You're 7 billion different types of human beings on this planet. You can group up if you want to, but like when I think about it, the only reason we ever grouped up in history to form a tribe or anything else was out of fear and survival. Like we were
fear. By the way, it's fear of living, not fear of death. People are afraid to live. They're not afraid to die.
Ooh, ooh. Ooh, that's nasty. Oh, that y'all taste that? Y'all taste that? Yes, that fear of success, that ultimate fear that makes you not want to go anywhere and do anything. You might have to go somewhere and do something.
Afraid of risk, yes, they don't. And when I said it yesterday, people were like gawstruck by it. I was like, no, that's what it is. Like it's so obvious. You're wearing it on your face. They're scared of the mask thing. You're scared of living. You're not scared of death. You're scared of living. You're terrified. You're scared of your own power. You're scared of your own abilities. You really are. People are scared. You really are. So
I don't want to walk over what you said earlier. So I do make excuses for young people to a degree because they lied to in a university, and when I was lied to, I believe all the lies too.
Oh yeah. Children don't count, darling. We're the ones indoctrinating them. It's not their fault, darling. It's not theirs. So
what you said about the coward is true, and that same statement that's true too. That is very true. There are people who are scared because they're scared to take on. They'll go and they'll lash out against the person closest to them, right? Like you hurt the ones you love, you hurt the ones that are closest to you. You'll go after.
You're only betrayed by people that you trusted. So that's how betrayal works. You know.
But what a wonderful time to be alive in this paradigm shifting moment where we actually have enough data to know that history is almost a total lie from the beginning to the end. But what a beautiful time. We are honored. I think.
Yeah, we're lucky. We're really lucky to be in this time period right now. We really are. I wouldn't change it. Actually, I'd be in this time. This is the exact time I want to be in.
So, I'd be in this time, but I think I'm on the wrong dimension. I don't know. I believe in string theory and the multiple dimensions, Ty, and I kind of feel like I'm supposed to be in a dimension with more Bart Simpsons, though. Probably more.
We don't even know what's to come. We're just coherent enough to understand it. Whereas the youth are still up and coming in this, so they'll be there. They'll be where we are at some point, but. I mean, there has to be people that set the standard. That's why we have ancestors. Like they did the work beforehand. We're just our current incarnation, and then they will pick up the slack after us. That's just how the circle of life works. That's just how it works.
You're fading into obscurity. I need to get a new plug, a new damn ear thing. You sound like they're in a bottle. You know what? I thought it was my cord. It's not. They're playing with your microphone. They're playing with the yeah. Well, it sounds like you're in a bottle. I don't know if y'all can hear Ty. Okay. Yeah, see, it's not me. Look, Christine just said it. So I'm not sure if this is acquired weapons for.
They do that now. Yeah, they do that. They do that to me if I don't put headphones in. They get angry. So they're like, "We're mad at you."
Yeah, well, you know what? I believe though that it's not actually a they. I think it's a it. I believe.
Oh yeah.
Based on what I saw in corporate
it's the algorithm.
America, And like I couldn't piece things together coming out of the IT world until I read Quiet Weapons for Silent Wars, right?
I'm
Until
telling you that
Deborah
fucking
Harris
document.
until she put it together, I understood that they're basically trying to collect data on everything from everyone, everywhere, because it's too impossible to control a slave plantation of 7 billion slaves. The only way you do that is through learning software. Everything has to go in a database. And so I honestly believe that they're just using software. And so they know roughly what needs to occur. And so when you get shadow banned, when you get censored, when your posts are taken down, you go to Facebook jail, all these things. I think all these things are highly controlled. Like I do think that there are people that watch every now and then because you have to maintain the software. But for the
Yeah,
most
but
part,
yeah, AI is there. Yeah.
all collected and they're limiting the voice of everyone. Like you should have 2,000 people on your stream on a regular basis,
Yes.
and you would because
Do you see? Do you
that was
see
their
why I just and
marketing.
I distrust? This is why I distrust people like Anomaly because I'm like, how are they allowing him to do that? You know, we would be the most popular people. I'm like,
So,
this is America. Y'all got me tripping out. Y'all got me tripping out. This is
so,
America. Sorry.
but this is good. It's good that they do that though, because now
Yes.
you can process. All right, who do I need to be listening to? Like, you remember when I told you we're all having an offline conversation. It was one video you did. I think there were like 800 people or something there watching it, something like that.
It
And I
was
was
it
like,
was crazy.
I was like, Ty, I was like, be careful. I
No,
was
no,
like,
no,
Ty,
no, I remember when you
be
messaged. I was
careful.
going to talk to you about that earlier. Like when you met, I was at 250 live. Hunter, my roommate, was here. He's like, I don't know what's happening. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going viral again.
Nothing
There's
changed.
only been
I was
two
like,
times. There's only been two times I went viral, and I was like, uh oh.
I
Here we
was like,
go.
be careful. I was like, be careful, right? Because of what I noticed with Debbie is when she'd get up into the thousands, oh, it would get crazy. It was obvious
It was
that
nuts,
that
honey. It was nuts.
right? It
Holy
wasn't like
crap.
people looking for truth. It was like they took her broadcast and they were like sending it to the groups of the people that would like hate her the most or whatever. And like,
Yeah.
so software, like I think if you're paying attention, you see how they're using it and they're
Well, well,
learning from
well
it and they're
also,
figuring
but
out.
there was two dynamics. There was that dynamic first, but that's why everyone thought I was like a Q person. I was like, because the Q people just and they were just like, listen to this person right now, and it was just hundreds of them. They were all over the place. I was like, holy crap, like, holy
So
crap! It was amazing. It was just amazing. It was so crazy.
let me
So
tell you what I saw. Let me tell you what I saw. So what I saw is they promoted you to the Q groups because the same software they ran on Debbie, they were running on you, and they thought it was going to turn like this into like some sort of a turmoil thing with a lot
yes,
of people
yes,
reporting you. So you go to Facebook jail, delete, blah 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 blah. But what happened was they didn't expect you to play it how you played it. They did not expect you to do what you did. They didn't expect you to say what you said. And the Q people were like, whoa, wait a minute, this makes some damn sense. And it became this huge thing, which is why I kind of sat back and I laughed to a degree. And I was just like, everybody just calm down. That time
because
be
they.
time.
I mean, and that's what
We
it was
don't
because
really
they
know
agree with
what's
us.
going on.
Because remember, they agree with every. They haven't disagreed with anything we've said. They agree
No,
there's
when
a
you say
satanic
truth,
pedophile cabal. They acknowledge everything that we say. They don't discount anything we say at all. There's just millions of these bitches around. Millions of them. They're all over the place. I was like, I can't get rid of it. No, they have to join us or we're not going to. They have to be there. They have to. They just
well,
have to.
so the
So,
beautiful
you
thing
know.
though is so what created the energy to create a Q or a Q following, we'll put it that way, is the
Mhm.
right was just more anti-establishment than the left
Yeah, it
was.
was just anti-establishment people. That's all it
They were
was. That's all it really was. Yeah.
and
So.
so anyone trolling the system they enjoy. And so that's where I think a lot of folks here, like I remember before it was Donald Trump, it was Jesse Ventura, right? Because
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh
it was
yeah.
it was anybody who was anti-establishment. And so the thing is that so listening to you and you're like, hey y'all, you know what, Bigfoot, damn it, might be real. I think his name is Durrell, if I'm not mistaken. And the mermaids could be real too. Because I understand history is a lie and bankers run our country and the robber barons and the railroad tycoons and you
I
know and the
love it.
UFOs and aliens.
I'm so happy you were
They're
there.
like, ah! They're like, we love you. I was like, Ty's getting it's like Ty's getting. I was like, 200, 300. And I was like,
Gerard, I was so happy you were there. I was so happy you were there for that cast when we first decided we had the information. I wanted you to know that during that cast, I like that first information desk cast. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing it. Like I fought it for like 2 days. I was like, I can't believe I have to do this. And then I came out. I was like, We got to talk about Bigfoot, guys. They're like, seriously? I was like, come on, guys. You don't think like I like this? Like, you think I want this for me? No, I have to sit here and accept the Bigfoot people. I have to do it. I have
You
to
don't
do
want
it.
to. They literally have evidence, which is highly interesting, right? From
I
gigantic
mean,
to
wait. No. And this was just from the white people. I was like, wait, are you saying the Navajo were lying about Bigfoot? Are you saying the Native Americans are lying about Bigfoot? They're clearly not. They're clearly not lying about it. So what?
They tell that story.
You see?
Yeah.
Do you see?
Like, you don't have a choice. It's like, okay, so see the thing, and that's the beautiful thing about live stream. If you start lying and you got friends around that love you, they'll call you out. They will call you out on your bullshit. So you don't get to pick what's true and what's false.
I just don't get to. Yeah.
You know, you don't get to. You have to give. You say, listen, all right, guys, they got something. They got. I'm avoiding the dragon people. I got this guy. He keeps sending me dragons. It's like, you know, there's evidence, right? Like, so dragons. You know, when Alexander the Great went to China, the emperor rode around on a massive reptile, and it was well documented. All the cultures all over the land all talked about this flying thing that got some fire coming out. You got insects that they create this spark in their mouth, and it's just like, I don't want to deal with it. But the reality is, we don't know anything about history. We got to be honest with that. It's been covered up and lied about for so long.
Yes.
We don't know.
And when I called out the Smithsonian, I got in trouble for that too, because they keep trying to tell people, go research the Smithsonian, and then they go, oh, they acknowledged it. Everyone in the 19th century acknowledged the existence of giants without question, because their bones are everywhere. They're littered all over the landscape. Everyone knows giants exist. They know they do. They know they do.
Because they found a mound, and they would go to the mound, they dig it up, and pull out these people.
Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon. That's why you're not allowed to go inside the Grand Canyon, because they know there's giants living in the cage. They know they're there. They know they are. They do. They do factually. So that's all there is to it. So I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry about it.
Right. They checked them in the Smithsonian. Magically, the Smithsonian doesn't have. So the only thing that you really got to question, right, like right now, is why they're lying. Like, we know that they lie about all of this. Why? Like, are they trying to cover up in the film? Are they trying to cover up, you know,
anything, aliens, technology, anything, really?
They just want us to live in the monkey reality. They want us to think that we came from primordial goo about 120,000 years ago. We stopped swinging on the trees and eating bananas and sniffing each other's butts to find out where the most delicious ripe bananas are. And we slowly got some rocks and some fire and created the ball and made a wheel or something. And the Neanderthals was fighting with the humans, and then you had kings. And it's just like, none of that is true. None of that, or in part. But the important thing,
it's a half truth. It's a half truth. It's a half truth.
Is it? Can we call it like a 1% truth? It's like a point.
That's what it is. Well, remember, because the best propaganda is mostly true with a bit of lie. Remember that. That's mostly propaganda. It's mostly true, but they can circumvent how you think about that truth, how you think about it. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. Yeah.
There's something Neil deGrasse Tyson says, which I love, and it's something to the effect, and he says it the wrong way, but he says it basically
because controlled opposition, but still.
You're right. Controlled opposition and gatekeepers, and he's got a job in economics.
Indeed,
and all that.
indeed. So, you wouldn't be popular otherwise, so you know.
Somebody correct me, or maybe you know. It's something to the effect of the most dangerous people are the people who are just smart enough to know, but not smart enough to know they don't know. Something like that.
Exactly. That's why they're called gatekeepers. Like Noam Chomsky is a gatekeeper. Yes. Yep. See, well, they know he knows what MIT does because he's worked for it as a professor for 50 years. But he's not going to actually tell you what MIT does behind the scenes. He's not going to tell you that. See, he's a gatekeeper. He's a gatekeeper. Yeah.
He'll talk about, you know, where did he sell it? He sold out on the Federal Reserve, but he'll talk about war. He'll talk about 9/11. He'll talk about these things. And so Corbett did a great video where he explained what Noam Chomsky is. Noam Chomsky.
Yes. He gets his pension from MIT. He gets his pension from MIT, so he's not going to call out MIT because that's where his money comes from. That's where his livelihood comes from. So he won't attack MIT. Yeah. And
if you're listening between the cracks, you'll hear where the gatekeeper's money comes. Neil deGrasse Tyson, well, the GMOs and hybrids are the same thing. We've been doing this for generations, and it's okay, and it's safe. Vaccines are safe. And so you know where they're getting their particular money. You just have to be smart enough to say, okay, I get it now. I understand how the system works. If you actually defy the system from a powerful position, they'll put you in the grave. So these people got mortgages, they got lives, they got kids, they got things that they need to do. So they're only going to give me 92% of the truth, and the rest they're going to lie about.
Yeah.
Like a doctor, like a nurse, like anybody, like an engineer, like anybody. You will lie for your boss. Why? Because you are bribed. It's called a salary. You're bribed.
You have to just to survive. You have to.
It's like a soldier.
And scientists have to lie because otherwise they can't get their science funded. If they don't lie, if they don't get a preconceived notion from the funders who's funding a specific result, they want a specific result, so they will fund it to get that result. That's it. That's how science works.
The system is ingenious. Like I was
very well done.
About war, right? Like, you know, a justified war when you don't have to pay the soldiers.
There you go.
That's a justified war. Short of that, the soldiers, like, we like
to tell them.
They like to say, okay, well, it's the order followers. The order followers, no, they're not order followers. They're just employees like you. They're doing a job just like you. They consent just like you. But none of the wars are just, right? If it's a just thing, you don't have to pay them, right? They're just employees. This is a business transaction. War,
and they don't know why. And they're not even in malicious. They don't know because they're compartmentalized. They're compartmentalized away from each other, which is why I want everyone to start reading Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. You'll understand why we compartmentalize different people, because their specialties matter. Their specialties matter. It matters that we have specialties, but because they are compartmentalized away from the general population working together as one symbiotic unit, they can be manipulated at will. That's why. So read Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. So that'll help.
Like the Pentagon. The Pentagon is full of good people, like the pharmaceutical industry, like every single industry. But the top who actually pays the bride, who's paying your salary, your bonuses, your grant money. It's not, you know what? What was I talking? I was thinking about science. I love trust of science. Oh, trust of science is so important. It's so important. I am glad that is a term nowadays, because it's no longer science when it leaves the laboratory. In the laboratory, you have science happening. When it leaves the laboratory and they put a price tag on it and they put it on the shelf, it's not science anymore. It's just a product. And we need to treat a product like a product and treat science like it's science. And it's like, but they confuse us with these intellectuals, and everything is bought and paid for. Everything.
Or it wouldn't be here. Or it wouldn't be here.
It wouldn't be here. Yep.
Somebody has to be paying and funding for it, and people don't accept. People don't know what that means when we say, check the funding of the thing. They're like, well, we quote the CDC, we quote this. I'm like, right, but who is funding that? What is the history of the organization that you're quoting? They don't care about the history of the organization. They think that organizations care about them, but they haven't researched it. They don't understand that corporations, by definition, don't give a shit about you anyway. They don't. No. They just don't. They're criminal enterprises. So that's really what they are.
I like it best put. They drop buildings on babies. They don't care about your sniffles. They don't care.
They do not. Or they would have already done so, wouldn't they? They would have already done it if they cared.
Oh, they would have taken on these industries. They would have stopped Monsanto. They would have shut down Glaxo.
Right. Would we be poor? Would we be poor? They don't care. They don't care.
If we actually had say in government, government would be governing. We have resources to feed everybody. We got resources for everyone to have a house.
No shortage, no overpopulation. None of those things are true. Yep.
This is what governing does. You can tell who's governing and who's ruling by just looking at the people.
Right? There you go. That's it.
On the street from lack, and you got churches the size of damn hospital complexes. There's something wrong in that society, but the churches get a tax break. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do, which is they're feeding the system,
Yep. And it's from every angle, as you've seen. It's science, it's religion, it's food, it's fashion, it's entertainment, it's technology, it's medicine, it's all of it. Land use, water distribution, waste disposal, all of it. Socially conditioned, controlled, engineered, ready to go. And if you're not paying attention, they're going to decimate you. They will. They will decimate you because you're not paying attention to your needs. And they will. And if you don't care about your needs, then they get to dictate how your needs work. They get to. If you don't take responsibility for it, it's that simple. So
And a good test would be you come up with like everyone's got problems, right? But if your community has a problem, you say, okay, this is a problem. You solve it. Like, well, okay, we thought about it. Here's a solution. We're going to give it to government. Here's a solution. No, we don't want your solution. We know what you do. We know you go to corporations. You try to make an industry out of the problem. No, we gave you the solution. You do the solution, and they will look you flat in the face and say, no, that's not how this works, right? If you go to them and you give them a problem, they're going to make that problem a business. They've been doing this from the beginning of United States Corporation. I even did that. I got fooled. I went to them. Well, my group, we wrote laws, and we went to them when I ran into the guy from the 10th Amendment Center. I forgot his name, but anyway, using the 10th Amendment to take back states' rights and taking on the federal government, which is a great thing what cannabis is doing. But the thing is, these politicians will look you in your face and they'll smile and they'll shake their head and say, that's not how this works. You bring me the problem and we'll write the law to solve your problem, right? Because if you actually decide how to solve the problem ahead of time, they'll just start, because you're not a citizen. You're a commodity.
Yeah, especially if people don't understand the difference between legal and lawful. A lot of things are legal, but they're not lawful. There's a difference. There really is a difference there. So it's just one of those things. People don't understand their rights. They think they do. They don't. They need to understand what rights are. If they think they have to be given to them or protected by some. No, if you have rights, then they are inalienable. They are given by God. They are not. There's nothing. There's nothing any human or government can do to you. They are inalienable rights. And if you don't understand what your rights are, they can utilize those rights for their own accord. And it's really that simple. It really is.
And they're supposed to. And they're supposed to because you can say
exactly. That's their function. That's their function to do that. Yeah.
Like cannabis. Say, well, cannabis is legalized in the States. First of all, cannabis was never illegal, number one. And number two, they give you a right that they could have taken. And because they let you do it and tax it, that's not legal, right? Because you got a license to do it. And so the thing is that they play these games. It's a game of takeaway. They take it away. You beg for it to back. You beg for it. You beg for it. After a couple of decades, they give it back to you. And you're confused and you think that they dull out the rights to you. They are God. They are your master. And that's a master-slave relationship.
Yes. The Romans did that. That is consent. And it can only happen by consent. They can't do it. They can't make you do it. You have to consent to rule. You have to consent to rule. That's what it is.
And they know that it only takes a generation. Like the Romans, they did this with the Germanic tribes and all the barbarian tribes in North Africa and everywhere else. They get you in the first generation. It's like, no, we're not this. We're not German. We're not that. We are something else. And what you do, but the better example would be Rwanda, right? The Rwandan genocide. Where did that come from? Well, that was the Belgians, right? The Belgians decided it's a good idea that we take these tribes and we give them race cards. And so what they did is say, well, you guys are in this race and you guys are in that race. And if they had their ID cards, and the first generation was like, this is bull. This is bull crap. We're not a part. We only speak the same language with those people, right? But the second generation, it only takes a generation. So by the time the second generation comes along, they're like, oh, we are proud this. We are proud that. We are proud Black people, right? And so this is how they take their little strategies and schemes, and all they got to do is make it go out over a generation, and the next generation is broken.
Yes,
it's classic empire.
They will do it. Classic empire, and it work, and they'll keep using it so long as it works. They'll use the same tactics over and over again so long as they work. As long as we keep falling for them, they'll keep doing it. That's it.
Sure.
That really is it.
They're the only one that's wrong in the conversation is us. They're correct. We gave them the consent.
Yes.
We gave them consent for 1,000.
Yes.
They're correct.
That's it.
It's like Cat Williams.
That's it.
I love how Cat Williams says it.
I love him.
Yeah, how people climb into tiger cages and they get their booty holes eaten out is what he says. He says the only one right in that conversation was the tiger. The tiger is a tiger. It knows it's a tiger. And it's been its whole life saying that speaker is not a rock. That's a speaker.
You're talking, that stand-up routine where he's like, I wish this nigga would come in here. Please come in this cage, queen. Come in this cage. Come in this cage.
Yes. The tiger's knowing it's a tiger. Right? Your billionaires spend their whole life knowing that they're billionaires and trillionaires, and you consented to them, and you're now going to go down to Area 51 and take some of their goodies. It's not going to happen, right?
They're not paying attention. Yep, they're not ready for it.
The predators know who they are. We are the only ones in the conversation who don't seem to know our place. if you empower it, it is supposed to use that power over you. If you take that power back, that's another discussion.
That's what it is. That's exactly it. I'm so glad we did this today, Gerard. I really am.
Oh, it was good.
I feel like we haven't done this in a long, long time.
Well, you know what? Things do what they do. And I think the biggest problem is when you got busy people, like you're always running and gunning. Half the time, I don't know where the hell you are. I see your stream, running out in the street, running around, whatever. Next thing you know, you got company.
And there's a lot of new people now. Like, as you've seen, like, I mean, you've been here since the beginning. Like, there's just up and coming casters and new people. And like, you just got to navigate around. And like, I think we're so used to each other that we just see each other around and we're like, hey, how you doing? You know?
Ty used to be my traffic, my ride home in traffic. I'm always sitting home. This is back when you used to like have reliable streams and you go live a certain time every day almost.
Yeah.
I was driving. I tell you, you've almost killed me so many damn times. It don't make any damn sense. I'm driving down the road and you say something. Oh, I gotta say something. You know, hold the wheel, hold the coffee, drive, try to type that. I should have died a long time ago. You should have killed me. I should have been murdered a long damn time ago. We used to be laughing. But so the good thing is, though, you're right. And like, what was it, like 50, 60 people here? That's a solid group of people.
It is.
Coming back hardcore, and they've been starting to live stream. Like, there's so many new live streamers. I can't even keep up with them. But those
it's too hard. It's too hard to do it. It really is. It's amazing.
It actually is working that people are becoming their own masters. They're becoming their own leaders. They don't give two damns what you say. They don't give two damns what I say. They got their own thoughts, their own mind. They're doing their own research. You know, from Lori does her streams. Emer's been doing them for a long time.
Yeah, he's been doing them. Yeah. They're here. Like, and there's a lot of new people that we inspire people to do it. We inspire people to do live streams, and that's the whole point. You know, that's the whole issue.
I hope we had something to do with it. I think if anything, maybe we broke down a few walls for some people, but I think you naturally have people who don't believe the bullshit, and they've always wanted to speak up, and now they have an ability to speak up, and I think they're doing it. So I think this is what changes the world. I think what changes the world is people taking their sovereignty back and finally deciding, say, no, I got a voice, I can speak. I got thoughts, I can use them. I don't need the news, I don't need TV, I don't need pundits, I don't need Ty, I don't need Gerard, I don't need anybody to speak for me. I can speak for my
Exactly. Self-actualized human adults that use their own intellect. And that's why we tell everybody, I mean, Gerard, you all at me, Daniel, we always tell people, and they're like, well, why don't you be this? And no. We told you, don't follow us. We're not a cult. You need to think for yourself. It's not about following us. It's about you doing what we're doing. You do it yourself. You get on camera, talk about your skills, talk about your life, and we'll sit there and watch and listen. We want to hear your perspective, everyone. We want to hear your individual perspective. Be an individual person. Be a sovereign. Be an self-actualized adult person. And then we'll take you seriously. People will take you seriously when you're self-actualized. But if you're just going to follow anybody else around, then you're not, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for anyone to take you seriously. There just isn't. You know what I mean? There just isn't. Don't apologize for who you are as a person. Don't apologize for it. Just express it. Just express it as productively as possible. So
right or wrong.
Yeah.
Just express it. And so, no, I think it's going in a good direction. I think it is too.
I agree.
New thoughts coming out. And besides, if you follow Ty or me, you're going to be in big trouble. I tell you what, if y'all get behind me and put together a cold tie, these people going to be butt naked. They're going to be like dancing.
They know. That's why people in my town are like, he's created this weird deranged cult. I'm like, I could create a cult. I could easily do that, but I don't do that. That's why I'm rude, as you've noticed. I'm rude for that reason because I don't create cults. I just hate all of you. I hate all of you deep inside. And they're like, well, he's not going to be able to create a cult like that. I'm like, indeed. Do you see that problem? Do you see? So, yeah.
You don't want to. And another interesting thing I'm saying is there's a lot less retarded activity. There's a lot less getting upset, being a grown adult, fighting on a social media toy of a platform, right? And because mostly what you said right there, people are like, no, I ain't gonna go over to your page. You got a cult over there. You got a cult. Like, you can post something now and they don't even say anything. You could just like leave my white people alone. I post that once a week now. Leave my white people alone, and nobody is saying anything. They just sit back because individually, like people will take up their power and they realize, like, nah, this is a safe space. I can speak my mind. Nobody here is going to shame me. And I'm
not gonna ban you or censor your comment. Yeah, no, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want, honey.
Do whatever you want. Be an adult. Your experience. If you want to know your experience. And I think when in a light of free speech, now mind you, Facebook, they'll block whatever they have to. And I think a whole new round of blocking is coming because Pepsi and a bunch of others pulled out of Facebook or whatever because they said
we'll have to move on from Facebook at some point, but for right now, let's use it while we can. Let's use it.
Let's give Trump credit where credit is due. He created that executive order for removing their indemnity, right? So now he can sue social media companies, and so as soon as he did that, I noticed a lot of people stopped going to Facebook.
Yeah, they stopped censoring us, didn't they? Yeah, because they were targeting all dissent and conservatives and weird groups. They were targeting specific factions of people, and now they realize they can be fucked up for that. So now they're like, okay, I guess you're all right now. Yeah, I bet we are. I bet we are, cunt. I bet we fucking are. So, because we weren't wrong, we were just unpleasant. So.
The struggle is real, but I think if you empower people to be an adult, you empower people to speak their own personal experiences. It's a very empowering thing. Like, I don't believe in people anymore. People to me is bullshit. There's no such thing as a people. People don't have experiences. Gay people don't have experiences. Black people don't have experiences. Persons have experiences. Some of them got it pretty good in the gay community, and a whole lot of them don't. Some of the black folk got it good. Some of the white folk got it good. Some of them don't. So the only thing I believe in anymore, I don't believe in people. I'm not interested when people start talking about, well, these people got the people. No. I want to know like Emrys. I want to know his personal experience because that's valid, and that's a true experience.
That's valid.
Anything else is like trying to create a cult or convince me of something.
They're speaking for other people. They're speaking for a dynamic because because they share a characteristic. They think that everyone has to think the same way or share that same mentality, and that is by definition a cult. That's what cults are. So GLBTQ is a cult. Because if we don't agree with how they feel about a thing, we have to be ostracized. Right, so you're a cult. You're a cult of personality. Cults, they're all over the place. They're all over the place, honey. Right. They really are.
Black leadership. This is why I turned on these people a long time ago.
Black people is a cult, yes. Black people is a cult. Gay people is a cult. Cults everywhere. Cults. So...
Oh, this is what we want? No, y'all wrote the crime bill. Hell no, we ain't no people together. No, you created a whole prison system for black people. It's like
okay. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So.
This was so refreshing.
It was. I'm very happy we did. We'll have to do it again soon. I know I think it's been like months and months and months since we've done this together. So I'm glad. That's why I was like, I need to do this with Gerard. We need to do it. We just need to get it done.
Yeah, I do a lot more often. I have to get my butt out in the garden. The sun is going down. I got a few things I got to take care of.
I know. I got to go eat. So,
all right. Get your food. It was wonderful, darling. It was wonderful seeing you again.
Fashion, darling. Fashion, sweetie. Fashion, everyone. I'll be back on later for my individual thing. I do that. So, but I'm glad you all did, and I'm glad we didn't warn you about it. So you just tuned in and see how many people showed up just without even warning. This is how you know we're close. We're getting close to overthrowing these people. We're getting really close. Really close.
To the place. Be ready. So, keep your powder dry. All right.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.